Hello everyone and welcome to the Iron Warrior Cosplay Workshop. Today I'm going to do a fun little tutorial for you guys. I am making just a fun costume or cosplay. It's not really a cosplay, I'd say it's more of a just a Halloween costume, but it's a Halloween costume that I'll be wearing at my work because they've allowed us to wear Halloween costumes and stuff. I'll be using my old sledgehammer. This is one I painted up ages ago from an Evil Ted tutorial that he did to make things look real. I think this looks pretty damn real, even though it's like rubber latex. I made these two shoulder panels recently that cover up the Velcro on my Death Korps of Krieg trench coat because I'm utilizing the gas mask and the trench coat from my Death Korps of Krieg cosplay to make this kind of creepy sledgehammer wielding ex-miner, you know, murdery kind of. It's a Halloween costume, you know. It's not a cosplay. It's just something off the top of my head, right? So what I did was I went out and I got this. This is like an American style mining helmet. I'm going to be sanding this down, priming it, and painting it to look like metal. So I'll be doing a tutorial on that. This will look like a metal helmet by the end of it, even though it's fully plastic. I will also have to remove this, pop this out, and paint the brim and the inside as well. Well, not the entire inside, but the brim and everything, so it doesn't show up in photos and stuff. But also, my friend Marcus Belden Smith, I did a job for him recently repairing his chainsaw, like a real chainsaw, not a prop chainsaw, it's a real chainsaw. He had a still that needed some maintenance, so I did that for him, got that up and running for him. So we did a trade, because it was like, you know, it wasn't much work, but we did a trade, and the trade was he had this 3D printed gas mask filter, because I didn't want to get a real one. Some of them are for asbestos. Some of them, even if they aren't, I don't want a real one. I just want like a fake one. So with this one, I'm going to be painting it up to look quite rusty and old. So that's what I'm going to do with that as well. So this one's going to be rusty. This one will be like metal and slightly rusty. I've also got some magnets and some foam, so I can magnetize this into this. I could just glue it in, but I would love to be able to have it removable in case I want to do something in the future. So that's what this video is going to be about. It's just going to be a quick and fun little video on how I'm going to prepare this, prime them, and how I'm going to paint them as well. So stick around, and I hope you enjoy this video. So the first step before priming anything plastic that's shiny like this, like shiny plastic, is to give it a bit of teeth, to take off that shine if you can. Okay, now I know I'm using this old sandpaper, but it really doesn't matter what sandpaper I use for this one, because it's going to be weathered and stuff anyway. So if I can start weathering it in the sanding process, then great, I'll do that. That'll be fantastic. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to slowly work at this now and sand it all down and see how much of that shine I can take off it before we go to priming. So with most of the shine taken off and a bit of teeth added to it, I'm quite happy with that. I've sanded it down quite a bit. The next thing I would recommend is taking this out. I don't actually know whether this is removable. Yes, it is. You just have to lift it out. There we go. It unclips. Nice. That's quite cool. This is the adjuster. So you can adjust the helmet to fit you. So I'm going to be keeping that. I am going to be, see these 4 points here, I'm going to be removing them. I might not, I don't know, I might remove them before I prime. If not, I'll leave them on. It's all going to get a prime of black anyway, but I've sanded this down. I need to sand the inside of the rim now, and then that should be it. You don't really need to sand the inside of the helmet because, you know, it'll be hidden for the majority. So that's what I'm going to do next now, is either cut these off and then sand it, or just sand it and then prime it. So when you come back after this helmet has just been sanded like this, it will come back now primed black. Just a quick little change to the plan. I actually found on my shelf while looking for some black primer was this grey plastic primer. And this grey plastic primer actually takes really well to the helmet. The sanding makes it look so much more weathered. I didn't end up cutting these off, but what I will do is sand a little bit more on the inside rim before I actually spray this with grey primer. But I also have this little sticker to remove, which I'll remove in a moment. But once that's done, I'm pretty much ready to go to spray this black. So now that this is primed and all ready to go, I'm going to put that to one side to let it just settle for a bit because it's quite warm from the heat gunning. I just wanted to show you guys I've already primed this as well. I decided in the end to just glue this in. There's no magnets. I was going to magnetize it. I was going to put some LEDs in it, but considering how much light will actually come out, which is almost zero, I thought it'd be best just to prime it black and let it go. So this is also ready to paint. This is currently curing and drying as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up my painting station here, just so I can show you guys what I'm going to do with the mining helmet. So I'm really looking forward to doing that tutorial for you. So let's go. All right, so with the helmet primed in black with plastic primer underneath. You don't have to do the plastic primer. I just found the plastic primer. It no longer chips or scratches because you sanded it originally, and after you sanded it, used plastic primer and black, it is now ready to go. Like I said, you don't have to use plastic primer. I have painted plenty of things with that plastic primer. I do tend to put a base coat of something, whether it be one coat of black and then let that completely dry, and then a second coat of black before I paint. I always give it 2 layers of something. Luckily I had plastic primer. I might get some more in future, but as of right now, this is all sanded. It's got loads of scratches and stuff on it from the heavy sandpaper, because I did a light sandpaper, but then just before I painted it, I did some heavy sandpaper over it because I want it to look used and abused and old. The only 2 paints you're going to need are black and silver. These are the only 2 you're going to need, unless you want to add some rust to it, which I might do, but the paints for the rusting and stuff, that will be different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up. Now I'm going to use the biggest mop brush I've got, because that's what I'm going to need. And what I'm going to do, actually, I normally do black first. I shouldn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a good amount of silver there. And then I'm going to mix it with just a little bit of Mars Black. Mars Black is so strong that it's quite difficult to change the tone of the color if you use too much of it. So what I'm going to do now is grab a mixer. Here's a little mixing stick with a little smiley face on it. Little smiley face. I'm going to mix this together and see if I'm happy with it. Mars Black is so strong. It just really does like to take over some colors. See, now it's already taken over that one a bit too much, so it's time to add a bit more silver. A little bit more silver. Now I don't mind how much of this I have because I'm covering an entire helmet, so I really don't mind using a good amount of it. I also need to check if I have another silver spare, because I'm starting to run out of that silver a little bit. So, but this is quite a little chill tutorial. I'm working tonight until close, and then so that means I've got the day to do stuff. So this is why I'm doing this now during the day. That's much better. I like that. I like that much nicer silver there. What I might do you know what? I actually might add just a touch more, actually, just to be safe, because the helmet's already been primed black. So I want to make sure I can see what I'm painting. So I'm going to add a bit more silver to it. Oh yeah, there you go. That's already looking much better. Now, with this technique I'm going to be showing you, I am in no way painting the helmet. I'm going to be dabbing this paint on quite a bit. So let's start off just, I'm not going to start on the edges, because if I do, I will probably cock up. So I'm going to start just dabbing this on. This is the first layer, okay? So this is layer 1. This is layer 1. Just dab it on. You'll be drying these layers in between, and then you can crack on then with drying it with the heat gun a little bit, and then move on to the next one. You don't want 100% coverage, you just want enough. So I'm going to carry on with this. I might even get a light behind me because the light coming through the window is quite strong and I'm not able to see as much as I'd like. So I might get a light on behind me in a moment and go from there. Okay, so now that I've got a nice light to my side, I can actually see what I'm doing a bit better. This is actually looking really good. I'm liking this this gunmetal-y, silvery kind of color. Normally, I would add some different pigments to this, but the reason I'm not is because this is layer 1, and this is already looking really good. Never just paint it, because I just think if you just paint it one solid color, it just takes away from the realism in terms of weathering and how natural something is when it's been used for a long time, especially if you're like, I don't know, a murdering miner or something. Because I mean, I took my inspiration from My Bloody Valentine, you know, when there's like a miner murderer guy goes around with like a pickaxe and stuff and kills people. It's pretty cool. It's an old film, and it was called My Bloody Valentine, and it was released in January. Not this year, but it was released in January when it was released. I've forgotten what year. And it was My Bloody Valentine 3D, I think it was called. And he threw his pickaxe through the screen a bunch of times. It was quite cool. But yeah, it's weird considering because you know, My Bloody Valentine, if you released it on Valentine's Day, that would be great. It would have made a bit more sense. So I'm gonna do the brim now up until where my thumb is, because that's where I'm gonna hold it to dry it, and then I'll sort it out there then. But I'm already really happy with it. Actually, if I hold it on the inside like this, actually, yeah, I can get the entire rim done now. I'm really chuffed with how this is already looking. Like, I've barely started and it looks really good. I'm really happy with how it's looking. Seriously, it looks so good. So I'm gonna get the rest of this on. Like that. Look at that already. I've barely started, but look at it. I'm so happy with that. A little bit more there, a bit more there. Cover that bit up a little bit. Edge there a little bit. But there we go. Right. I'm going to go dry this with the heat gun a little bit, and by the power of movie magic, this will be dry and I'll be ready for the next step. So now that this is dry, it's had some time to dry, I'm going to go for the next step. Now, you're going to be wondering what the next step is. Well, I am going to grab some burnt umber, and where I've been dabbing the paintbrush here, I'm just going to add it to that. Oh, a little bit of dried paint there. There we go. A little bit of dried paint there, sorry. There we go. A little bit of burnt umber there. And using the same paintbrush, I'm going to mix the two of these together a little bit. And I'm going to start by going around it just a little bit. And this time, I'm going very sporadic. Like, I'm not covering like I've done with the silver at all. I'm just covering enough to make it look a little bit more tarnished, you know? It's hard for you guys to see because the lighting and stuff, but in terms of like the effect I want, it's looking really good already. So just a touch of brown with the silver that I've already been doing, and it'll give you this little effect, like a dirt rust effect all over it. This is layer number 2. This is layer number 2. So this weekend is MCM London. That's going to be happening this weekend. Unfortunately, as many of you know, Steph and I will not be there this year, so me and my wonderful girlfriend will be doing other stuff instead. I've got a stag do this weekend for my mate Eddie, who I've been friends with for decades. Well, no, not decades. Maybe a bit more than 18 years, I think, something like that. He's getting married, so congratulations, Eddie. But his stag do is this Saturday, and then my girlfriend's sister is having her birthday on the Sunday, and we're going go-karting dressed as Mario characters. So I've asked if I need to wear a Mario like costume from like costume shop or something, or can I just wear my Oppo suit? And I've been told I can wear my Oppo suit, so that'd be really cool. Looking forward to that, honestly. I haven't been go-karting in so long, I'm really excited for it. Really excited for it. It's going to be so much fun. While drying this just now, I was thinking to myself what I could put on the helmet in terms of if there's any text or anything going on the helmet. Now I'm running out of brown a little bit, so I need a bit more burnt umber. And I got thinking to myself, I know My Bloody Valentine was like the inspiration behind this, or the idea behind this, because that's where I got my inspiration from, was My Bloody Valentine. But I'm thinking of putting like, because it's quite horror-y, like as in, well, it's Halloween, but because it's quite horror-y, I would love to put something really cool in it. Like, for example, on the front here, on this bit here where you'd put like a logo or something, or your company logo or whatever, I'd love to put like Silent Hill, you know, coal mining company or something, or like Silent Hill, something Silent Hill related, because I do love Silent Hill. And I very much do want something like that on it. I think that would be sick. As you can see right now, by the way, I'm just sticking to just the brown for now, just to highlight a little bit around where I've been, and I'm not covering it all. I'm very much just randomly, and I say randomly, really just randomly. I'm not picking out any spots or anything. Normally I think about it. When it comes to this kind of thing, you just don't think about it. When it comes to, I've got to add a little bit of silver there, because that bit was not covered at all. There we go. You can't really think about it too much when it comes to weathering. You can plan it out if you want, but trust me, it'll never go to plan. So this is what it looks like currently. I don't know whether that shows up on camera that well, but it has had a bit of a drastic change. I'm really happy with how that looks. Now, with that being covered like that, I'm going to dry it again using my heat gun. So if you bear with me just a moment, I will be back a sec, and I will have the second layer dried. With that second layer now dried, I'm really happy with the age this helmet's looking. If you're wondering why I haven't done the rim or anything yet, I'm going to be using the leftover sort of gunmetal-y pewtery colour that I've got, and I'll just be dry brushing and dabbing the inside with just that one colour, just to hide the plain black anyway. So the next thing now is using the same mess I've got here of brown and pewter. I'm going to be adding this. This is, it's a weird colour, but it's guava. It's neon orange, okay? So neon orange, and I'm going to add just a little bit of neon orange. Ooh, that's blocked. Yes, it is. I'm going to add a little bit of neon orange to the paint palette, like that. I will deal with this clogged nozzle. The little cap for it thing is broken, so I might have to clean that out. But at least there's loads left in it, so it's not too bad. Now, with this colour, I'm using the same brush, not cleaning it, not washing it, just a little bit of this colour. You can already see how it's taking over the palette. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix that in, and if I have to, I will mix a separate little bit up here of brown, and using my mixing stick, grab a bit of this pewter, and then mix these together, not fully, but like enough so I can recreate that effect I just got So if I need to, I can use a separate brush to clean that up if I use too much of this. So I am going to grab some of this and mix it in with this orange. Like that, or the guava, or whatever you want to call it. Now this is even more sporadic. And then there'll be a quick technique to do just before you go to the drying stage of this. So again, you're literally just doing that, just dabbing. You're just touching the paintbrush against it. You don't do any brush strokes. Just dab, 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 dab. Just dab it all the way through, okay? This effect now, what I'm doing here, when I do the next part of it, you're going to absolutely love, because it's going to look so good. Grab a bit of this, a bit of that, keep mixing, keep creating different colours, different variants of the colour. I'm not going to try and mix it exactly the same each time. I might even grab some straight guava and do some of that on the back. Focusing on the top and the sides a little bit right now, just to get it looking a bit nicer. This is looking very good. Again, just dabbing. Now if you do get to a bit where you're like, that's too much orange, you can just take some of that colour that I've just mixed over here and just put that over a little bit, kills it down, dyes it down a little bit. It's really nice. Now you're probably wondering, this is a lot of effort for a Halloween cosplay just to go into work, but I will probably use it for something else. When, what for, I couldn't tell you, no bloody idea. But I'm really happy with how it's looking. Really happy with how this is looking, and I might use it for a cosplay, for like a Comic-Con or something. When, what, I don't know. I mean, HorrorCon, there's a HorrorCon that happens. I love HorrorCon. Would love to go to a HorrorCon dressed like this. Would be really cool. I know a bunch of friends who go to different HorrorCons and stuff, so that would be really cool. So I'm just going to mix some more of that. A bit more orange. Ooh, a bit too much orange. A bit more of that. There we go. So with this colour now, you might think like, oh, it looks kind of weird, you know, the pattern's kind of odd or whatever. Yeah, it is, but just you wait. Just you wait. Just you wait. I'm really happy with how this is looking. For the respirator, I've got a completely different painting technique I want to do, which I'm really happy with. I can't wait to show you guys that. This is already looking amazing. I'm really happy with this. Oh, I'm so happy with this. Look at it. So, with the helmet being mostly covered now by this new guava brown kind of rusty texture, rust effect, what I need to do next is just check over the helmet, make sure I haven't missed anything in particular, because of the different lighting I've got. I know I'm taking it off camera a little bit, but it's the different lighting I need to check in my own lighting, so I can make sure I'm done. Using a flat brush like this, stab it out so it's a little bit sort of splayed out a little bit, and then you're using a completely dry brush to feather out all the orange. It's already looking really good on that side, see that? So what you're doing is you're using this very stiff dry brush to feather out all the shape of the bristles, and you're just feathering it out. And this technique I've used several times before. I'll show you the end result in a moment, but it's so good. It's such a good effect. These techniques are stuff I've learned over the years, just, you know, from just practicing and trying things out. A really good thing I suggest doing, which I've done several times, I'm just going to grab some of that because I missed some here, there we go, is get a piece of scrap foam, prime it, or I'll seal it with something, then prime it, whatever colour you want, whether it be white or black or whatever colour you in particular need to do. I'm going to cover that up a little bit. Whatever colour you need to do, and then just practice. Go to town, look up tutorials and just practice, because I've practiced a lot, and yeah, you do get a little bit nervous when you're painting something like this. Like, I bought this helmet, I only have one of them. I don't really want to, you know, have to respray it and paint it all over again, you know? And, you know, you keep practicing. If you do mess up, you can just go back and prime it again, but instead of priming the entire helmet, you can always just grab some black and paint over what you've done, and then try and recreate the colour that you wanted. Now, with this feathering technique, you don't have to be too rough with it, but me, I stab the shit out of it. I love it. Because I feel the more aggressive I am with it, the better it looks. Because I've tried being gentle before, but it just doesn't work for me in terms of how I get the paint job to look. Now, there are some bits here I'm probably going to cover up a little bit with this pewter mix before I... with this brown mix, before I crack on. But as of right now, I am in love with this helmet. This, like, old coal miner's helmet. It's not, it's a new plastic helmet, but I've made it look like an old coal miner's helmet. Look at it. I'm really happy with how this thing looks. I really am. It's so nice. So, the plan here now is to grab some of this, just this brown pewter mixture, and just pick out some spots that I'm not overly, you know, fond of. They're too bright or something. There's some bits here and there. There you go, a little bit there, a little bit just in that bit there. Other than that, I'm quite happy with it. So just those 4 or 5 little bits. Always constantly turn your prop, your item, whatever you want to call it. You just constantly turn it and find that right little spot. And if you're like, I like that bit, and try and copy it, you can. But I'm really happy with how this looks so far. It's looking really good. Right, so I'm going to go dry this, and we'll be back in a moment. With that layer now dry, you can see the effect that you get. It looks like an old rusted, or well, fairly rusted, not like completely, like, you know, done in rusted, but it looks like it's been used. It looks like it's been dirtied. It looks like it's starting to rust a little bit on the top. It's a really nice looking helmet, and you can't believe that. I can't believe even that this used to be just a white plastic helmet before I started with it. I'm really happy with how it looks. It's really, really nice looking. So the next job now is to get your silver, and just using your silver. So start a little new bit here. Start a little new pile there. With just your silver. Where's my dry brush? There's my dry brush. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to use my new... No, actually, I won't use that one. Because if I use that one, I will use... Actually, no, do you know what? I'll use this one. This brush I've been using to dry it, I'm going to use this now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of that. And I'm going to dab it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some of this silver paint just along the rim, that with the shape of the helmet, you know. Now this is dry now, by the way, so that's why I'm saying you can pull now, whereas before I would recommend not pulling to paint it, because what I'm doing here is, because I'm pulling in one direction with this silver, it gives you this effect where it just looks like some of the metal has been like scratched a little bit. Let's say the miner has hit his head or something, or scraped his head along something. It just looks like, and you can pull in the same direction. You can paint back and forward, but I'm saying keep in line with like the curves of the helmet. So like I'm doing the sides here, there's now like a void here because I've done silver here. So if I just try and pull with the sides of the helmet like that, you can see it starts to fill that void in a little bit. going to just grab some more of that silver. Try and go with the shape of the helmet. See it? It already, like compared to the other side, you got that bit which now has the silver on it. I'm looking much, much nicer. Looking much, much nicer. So I'm going to continue with this, pulling it the same way as the shape of the helmet. It doesn't matter if the paintbrush goes back and forward on this, but as long as the silver is pulled with the same shape as the helmet, it looks really good. So I'm just pulling back with the shape of the helmet, like that, pulling back and forward with the shape of the helmet. But yes, like I was saying, MCM London is this weekend. A bit gutted we're not going to be there. Like I said, I've got prior commitments, and also I just couldn't afford it this year. Doing MCM London twice a year, every year has been, you know, fun and everything, but it has gotten to the point where MCM's prices now, just for the tickets, you know, just for a weekend ticket, is a bit high for me, because you have to factor in like the price of the hotel. Travel all the way from Wales to London isn't cheap in terms of fuel. Then you've got food, and let's say you want to buy something for yourself, or like I like to buy something for my girlfriend Steph every time we're there. I like to get her a little something because she's amazing. When I'm in my Death Korps Of Krieg, she spots for me, she looks after me, keeps me hydrated, wears a backpack all day so that she can carry all our stuff like drinks and some snacks and things like that. So she carries all that and looks after me. Wouldn't do MCM in my Krieg by myself if I could, because I don't think I'd survive. So just pulling this the same shape as the helmet, like back and forward on the same shape as the helmet. Now the reason I'm doing this is because that silver sheen that you do just by using just straight up silver, when the light catches that, especially the light from this side, the light that's coming from here right now, I can just see exactly where that light is going to catch, and I'm really happy with it. Now my arm is getting a bit tired there, but I'm going to do the brim again because the brim is a little bit in need of some attention. And again, I'm just following the shape of the brim, you know, just the shape of the brim, like that. Back and forward like that, following the shape of the brim. And what that does while you're feathering that out with this paintbrush, with it being completely dry, other than the paint obviously, it really shows the silver really, really well on top of everything you've already done. And with that, the helmet looks shiny. Now, I am going to do a black-brown wash over this. I do want to do a black-brown wash over this. Pull this towards me. The black-brown wash I want to do over it just to sort of fill in some of the recesses that it's got. These lines here, there's two lines coming up here that I'd like to, you know, fill in and recess with this bit here. I'd recess in the very edge of the helmet all the way around here. So I might do a heavy wash on it in a bit, but as of right now, I'm really happy with how that looks. I'm going to dry this now just to seal this layer, and then we'll go from there. All right, so with that dry, I don't know if you guys can hear the rain, but the rain's quite bad here now. With that dry, you now do one of my favorite things. Get a bunch of black, Mars black, get the mop brush you've been using this entire time, get a load of water in it. You've now ruined this brush, by the way. You cannot use this brush anymore to paint like these colors and stuff on it, because it's now soaking wet. You have to wait for it to completely dry unless you have another one. And you get a bunch of this black on there, like that. And then grab some paper towels. Grab some paper towels. Because this is one of my favorite bits. I don't know if the rain is coming through very clearly, but I feel like I have to raise my voice a bit right now because it's very, very bad out there. So what you want is you want to make like a slurry. It doesn't need to be, you can't have it too watery. You need to make it like a slurry. and it looks really, really good like that. So what I'm going to do now is one of my favorite things to do, and that's just go to town all over the helmet. Just go to town, layer after layer after layer of this stuff all over the helmet like this, like that. Even standing up for this part just to get the back, because you have to do this part pretty quickly. You don't want it to dry, get right into the crevices and stuff. And then there's a paper towel, dab a good chunk of it off. Just dab a good chunk of it off. Now you need to select certain areas. Don't take too much off from the crevices like I was saying, but you've got to select a little bit of where you're dabbing. There's a little bit there. Ooh, there's a bit of orange on that now. A little bit there that I've missed. Make sure I don't get the orange on it. There we go. A little bit there in the front that I missed. So there you go. Just dab away like that. And it just makes it look that much more grimy. Just makes it look that much more grimy and that much heavily weathered. Looks so good. I'm really happy with that. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to grab some of that black from the top, mix it into an even thicker slurry, and I'm going to add a touch of water because it's a bit too thick. And with this now, I'm just going to run this around the edge. Right round the edge. Right into that little dimple in the helmet there, the edge lip all the way around. And then dab it out with some of this tissue again. Get right in there, all the way around. Now this layer now won't dry as quickly because there's not much water in it. It's just paint, so that's quite good. That's really what you want for this layer. You want it to be quite more paint than water, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And with this, you can feather it in with just the tissue, just the tissue paper there. Just dab it in like that. I'm really happy with how this is looking and how this is turning out. So you see that rim there now? That rim looks like it's got the stuff in it. It's just got like dirt and stuff in it, because that's where dirt would collect. If you're unhappy with any of it, grab a clean, dry brush and like dab some of it out. But for me, I'm just going to keep dabbing it through. Find bits if there's a bit too much here and there. There we go. Now remember, that won't stay that dark the whole time, but trust me, it'll be worth it. I'm just going to add a little bit here. Dab this out a little bit, just to give it that, like there's a bit of a shadow there. Do the same here. Do the same here. Doesn't have to go all the way to the back because I'm just trying to do the front facing stuff at the moment, so like in photos and such, it'll look good. You don't have to focus on the back as much, but it's always good to give the back a bit of love. Alright. Okay, a bit here around the little top bit here. Dab that out. It just gives it some definition, you know, it just shows a bit more of it off. I really, really like how it looks. Ooh, one of my brushes there, there we go. I'm gonna add a little bit more in the back here. There's a bit I missed. That, or I took too much off when I was dabbing it, so there we go. So if you now wanted, I say let this dry, give this a quick dry around the rim. Give that a quick dry around the rim, and then take the same brush again and grab what's left of like the slurry and just really gently right into that little line, just add a little bit of this black all the way around. And this time, don't go nuts with it, but just go really slowly with it. Take your time with it, get it right into that edge. I'm going to do the front a little bit, like that. Not too much, I'm going to do it quite quickly on the front. Just nice and slowly around it. Just take your time. Just dabbing right into the edge, right into the lip. Right in like that. And I'll show you guys what to do after this. Now by the time you get back to here, the beginning, it will have started to dry a little bit, but that's fine. Just get your finger and a little bit of tissue and just feather just the part that's on this. Don't feather this bit. Just feather the paint that's on the bottom lip. Only a little bit. Just feather it just a little bit. Try not to touch the dome of the helmet, just the edge piece. What this drying does now, this feathering I'm doing, is sort of matches it in a little bit, makes it look like it's been running off the top of your helmet and down into this little crevice, like a bit of coal dust or something. I think that's quite a cool idea, the coal dust. And then I have got a little bit on the helmet I actually need to get off. There we go. Sorry, there was a bit too much there. So with that now, you can really see that there's a bit of dirt along that rim there. Okay? And then now you can dry it. And by drying it, you're sealing it in. Now, if you do worry and you think, oh, I don't actually like it, I want to take it off, a little bit of acrylic, a little bit of water on your brush will get the acrylic off. Now when it's dry, that's when the effect really pops out. When it's dry, you can just see it. All the way around. This little bit here, all the way around the rim there. Now that's dry. Really happy with that. Looks really good. So I'm going to grab some straight burnt umber now. Only a little bit, like the smallest amount. Smallest amount. And I'm going to grab the brush we did the silver with, mix it in with some of the silver, but not a lot of it, because the silver's quite dry now. And now, I'm just going to dab some of it on and rub it with my finger. Dab some of it on, not everywhere, just in the odd place. This bit now cannot be perfect, so you have to just pick a spot, like pick a spot up here, dab this on a little bit, rub it with your finger. You gotta get like, I'll show you a bit here. Here you go. Dab this on like that. There's the brown paint, and you just rub it through a little bit until it starts to smooth out. There's still brown there, but you don't want it to be just a solid, like I painted this with a brush. You just do that and then pull it through. Bit of that. Pull it through with your hand. Just randomly. It cannot be, you know, planned out. It has to be random. I don't want this to be something that looks like I've done it on purpose. But, you know, it might do. And it doesn't have to be on edges, by the way. You can literally, if you want to, get some of this paint here and literally just pull some of it back and forward on there and then just rub it in with your hand. And that little bit there, just that little bit there. See how it's already made. I can already see it goes from silver here. See that just light brown patch there? Just where I've just done that. And make sure you don't do it, if I've done it here on this side, I'm not going to do it exactly on that side. So if I've done a bit here, I'm not going to do it there. I'm going to just like move it around. Start just doing it on edges and stuff. Right on the lip or something. You don't have to plan it out. Just find a spot that you think could use you could use a bit more texture, if you will. Or a bit more depth, as they call it. I'm using this light next to me to see a bit better. Sorry, I keep pulling the helmet off camera. There we go. A little bit more there. Try that in. I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to be saying this helmet is done soon because all I've got to do now is just add a few little... Let me pull this out a little bit. Put that in there. Not enough. All I've got to do now is add a few little dry brushes of black on the very lip here with some of this burnt umber mixed in with it. You don't have to do this bit, I just want to do this bit because I want to just make sure the edge has some attention. So I'm literally just painting the edge with the side of my brush here. All the way around. And some of the spray paint has chipped off a little bit, but that's not a problem. I will deal with that later on. Right on the very underside of this lip because I've been putting it on the table so much. But yeah, there we go. So that is my mining helmet. I'm really happy with how it looks. I'm going to try and find like if I can find online a Silent Hill logo or something, like a mining company logo, I'll put it on there. But if not, I'm really happy with how this helmet looks. It looks very metal. It looks like metal. I'm really happy with all the different tones in it, all the browns, the rusts, the oranges and stuff. It looks really good. I'm really happy with it. Hope you guys liked this. This is part 1 of the tutorial on how to make like a metal effect for your helmet. So the paints that you'll need are burnt umber, some silver, some black, and some guava. Those are the paints I used to do that part of the build. The next one for the respirator, for the filter for the respirator will be different. So give me a sec to just clean up for a bit and then we'll be back shortly. So with everything tidied up, I've adjusted the camera a little bit. With everything now tidied up, I have my burnt umber and my orange here. I also had a sandwich break. had a bacon sandwich. So I had a bacon sandwich. Rain's back. So with this one, simple as anything, okay. But I'm gonna try and cover the threads before I start painting. I think I'll do that now. All right, we're back. I've adjusted the camera. It is now time to paint the filter box now. Or filter canister, or whatever you want to call it. I have taped the threads off because I don't want to paint the threads with acrylic because they're going to fit into my gas mask. I don't want it to get all clogged up with acrylic if it does like chip off or whatever. This has been primed in black earlier. This is now dry. I also had a bacon sandwich break because I was hungry. And there we go. And this one is super simple. This one is so easy to do. Prime it black, brown, orange, done. So this is how it's going to go, and I might even just do it in a time lapse. With that, you get this really cool rusted effect. I didn't want to do the gunmetal like I did before, or like the pewter I did before. I wanted to just make it look rusty and old, and I've succeeded with, like I said, just 3 colors. Although I know I said brown and orange at the beginning, but I did add a bit of Mars black just to give it a bit more of it. Even though I'd primed it black, I kind of was like, do you know what? I'm going to cover it more than I did the helmet, so I'm just going to give it a harder colour. There's a few random bits of orange here and there, which is what I want. I really love the subtle orange that you'll get, which is like little puddles of water sat in there for a bit too long and it starts to rust, you know. I just love the look of it. I think it looks fantastic. The dirtier the better, in my opinion. Like you can even just dab on some bits of black here and there, whatever. It really doesn't matter too much with things like this. If you're going to go for the full rust effect, it really doesn't matter. I'm really happy with how that turned out. I'm just genuinely really happy with the colour it's come out as and how dirty it looks. I can't wait to see how it looks on the gas mask. Now, I'm not doing any modifications to the gas mask. I'm not building another gas mask. It's all going to be the same gas mask I use with the Death Korps Of Krieg cosplay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dry this, and then I'll tidy up, and then I'll come back and show you the completed effect. So, with this complete, this light doesn't do it much justice, but if I actually hide it, there we go, if I hide the light, you can see where like I've got rust details inside it. There's like a lot of rust in here. This thing looks really good up close. I really am quite happy with how it's turned out, with how rusty it looks. I wasn't gonna deny you guys the peel, so I'm gonna get the knife now and I'm gonna peel this off for you. So the knife is here. I would never deny you guys the peel, much like I do with my hazard stripes. I like to show people the peel. I do love peeling off like masking tape when it's super clean underneath. I do prefer it when it's paint. This is the good masking tape that I normally use for doing hazard stripes and stuff. I use crap tape because crap tape is better for hazard stripes. But there you go, there's a clean thread, very nice. And there's my little respirator. So I'm really happy with how this has turned out, how rusty it looks. It's still white inside. I'm going to leave it white inside. It looks really good. I'm really pleased with it. It's so nice. So that's done, along with mining helmet. That's also done. I've been umming and ahhing about darkening this down a little bit more, but I'm actually quite chuffed with it because looking at the different colours, that they are. Again, camera's not picking up the colour difference very well, but this has got a lot more browns in it. This has got some browns in it, but this is more like a metally silvery colour, especially with the dry brush. But I'm really happy with how these two have turned out. I'm going to be working on the harness next. The harness for the helmet. I just need to paint this essentially. I need to spray this black essentially. Because this is visible. This is quite visible when it's on, and I need this to actually adjust the helmet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it all the way out like that. I'm going to spray this not completely solid where it's dripping with paint, because you should never do that. I'm just going to spray it until it's a nice black, not as black as this probably, but I'll just spray it until it's out of the way. You won't see it much then in pictures and stuff, but once that's done, I'll be able to clip this back in to the helmet, and then possibly I'll get my gas mask and do a test fit soon. I'll show you guys some pictures, but if not, I will just show you the completed pictures. When I go to work, I'll just show you the completed cosplay, so or Halloween costume, whatever you want to call it. I still call it cosplay because it's costume and playing. I'm in a costume, I'm at work and I'm playing. It's great. So, like I said, I sprayed and did just the pewter on the inside, just super quick here, just to make it match a little bit. But I'm really happy with how both of these have turned out. And I really hope this quick little tutorial helped. I know it wasn't like, you know, a super in-depth tutorial. I know this was more than this, but like I said, with this, it's literally just those three colours and just keep stippling and stamping, and you'll get there eventually. And I'm really happy with how it looks. I'm happy with how both of these look. The colour differences in this with like the oranges and the browns just looks really good. And then this with like all the dry brushing and the different detailing and the weathering all around it, I'm really happy with it. So from me, Iron Warrior cosplay, and my, I'm going to guess like Silent Hill-esque miner costume that I'm doing, I'll give you all a big update soon. Thank you all for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I shall see you all again soon. Bye for now.